Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Givaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Givaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Shudanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Vanachari Yayoratha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Prema Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Om Vishnupad Parampuracharya Stot Sat His Divine Grace Abhicharan Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Parampuracharya Stot Sat Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Das Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Ko Jas Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavad Puran Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled duties, all glories to the assembled duties, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Srimad Bhagavatam, the title is The Song of the Bee, Canto 10, Chapter 47, verse 62. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Translation. Yavai Sriyarchitam Ajabdhir Aptakamer. Yavai Sriyarchitam Ajabdhir Aptakamer. Yavai Sriyarchitam Apadbhir Aptakamer. Vai Sriyarchitam Ajabdhir Aptakamer. Yogeshware api yad atmani rasakoshyam योगेश्वरेरपि यद् आत्मनि रसगोष्ठ्यम् योगेश्वरेरपि यद् आत्मनि रसगोष्ठ्यम् योगेश्वरेरपि यद् आत्मनि रसगोष्ठ्यम् कृष्णस्य तद्भगवता चरण अरविन्दम् कृष्णस्य तद्भगवता चरण अरविन्दम् कृष्णस्य तद्भगवता चरण अरविन्दम् अन्यस्तं स्थानेषु विजो परिरूप्य तपम् अन्यस्थं स्थानेषु विजः परिरभ्य तपम् अन्यस्थं स्थानेषु विजः परिरभ्य तपम् या वै श्री अर्चितम् अजब्धिरप्तकामैर् योगेश्वरेरपि यद् आत्मनि रसगोष्ठ्यम् कृष्णस्य तद्भगवता चरण अरविन्दम् अन्यस्तं स्थानेषु विजहो परिरभ्यतापम् Yes, Prabhu's quiet. या वै श्री अर्चितम् अजब्धिभिरप्तकामैर् योगेश्वरपि यद् आत्मनि रसगोष्ठ्यम् कृष्णस्य तद्भगवता चरण अरविन्दम् अन्यस्तं स्थानेषु विजहो परिरभ्यतापम् या वै श्री अर्चितम् अजतिभिरप्तकामैर् योगेश्वरेरपि यद् आत्मनि रसगोष्ठ्यम् कृष्णस्य तद्भगवता चरण अरविन्दम् अन्यस्तं स्थानेषु विजहु परिरभ्यतापम् What meaning? Yeah, who the gopis? Why, indeed, Sriya, by the goddess of fortune, Architam, worshipped, Aja, by unborn Brahma, Adibi, and other demigods, Aptakame, who have already realized all desires, Yoga Ishvara, masters of mystic power, Api, even though, yet, yet, which, Atmani, in the mind, Rasa, of the Rasa dance, Goshtyam, in the gathering, Krishnasya, of Lord Krishna, Tat, those, Bhagavata, of the Supreme Lord, Charana Arvindam, the lotus feet, Anyastam, placed, Sthaneshu, on their breasts, Vijahu, they gave up, Parirabhya, by embracing, Tapam, their torment. Translation. The goddess of fortune herself, along with Lord Brahma and all other demigods, who are masters of yogic perfection, can worship the lotus feet of Krishna only within her mind. But during the rasa dance, Lord Krishna placed his feet upon this gopis' breast, and by embracing those feet, the gopis gave up all distress. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam Sha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusudha Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavbhyo namo namaha. Koti Vaishnavjin ki jai. So the translation is the goddess of fortune herself, along with Lord Brahma, and all other demigods who are masters of yogic perfection, can worship the lotus feet of Krishna only within her mind. So these great personalities, the names are given here: Brahma, Lakshmi, goddess of fortune, and the different demigods. They have all achieved perfection in yogic. They can worship the lotus of Krishna with the mind. But here the gopis, they are getting very extra favor. But during the rasa dance, Lord Krishna placed his feet upon these gopis' breast, and by embracing those feet, the gopis gave up all distress. So there are different footprints on the lotus feet of the Lord. But he said, during the rasa dance, Lord Krishna placed his feet upon these gopis' breast, and by embracing those feet, the gopis gave up all distress. So that's all what Krishna conscious. In Dwapar Yuga, there was temple worship. So the temple worship is meant for fixing the mind at the lotus feet of the Lord. But in Kali Yuga, the recommended process is chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Because in Bhagavad Gita it says, Strishu Dushtesh Vashne Jayate Varna Shankara. Because if the women population are good, then nice progeny will come. So, so Krishna consciousness is above all this. Striya Vaishya Shudra Api. He says, anyone who takes devotional service, they attain perfection. Either he's a woman or a worker class, but again, by engaging devotional. So it's so important, chastity, Strishu Dusteshu Vashni Jayati Varna Shankara. In order to have a nice population, good progeny in society. Otherwise, it's just like in cats and dogs society, it says. But by surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, he can become free from all sinful reaction. And especially in this Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy name is recommended. Because in this Kali Yuga, it's very, all good qualities are winning: memory, bodily strength, mercy, duration of life. In it's all declining. All the good qualities are declining. But here we can see in this verse, it says the demigods, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, Brahma, they can worship the Lord by their mind. They have achieved such perfection. There's a nice story of a Brahmana who is mentally worshipping the Lord. He's offering very nice. He's praying in his prayers. He's making a throne made of pearls, diamonds, and the streets very nice, clean. and he's worshipping the Lord. And then he's trying to offer sweet rice to the Lord mentally. Here he was not so opulent, so he was offering the Lord mentally the sweet rice. And he was trying to see whether the sweet rice is hot, and he puts his finger. Mentally he was doing this worship, and his finger got burned. Like that. So by mentally, that's a very exalted position of this. So it says one has to fix the mind on Krishna. The chanting of the holy name is recommended in the age of Kali Yuga. It's the most powerful method. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nami Kevalam. Kalo Nasteva Nasteva Gatir Anyata. There's no other way, no other way. Chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But these gopis, they attain the very highest position. This is such a wonderful prayer scene. I will be reciting a few of this just for our review. There are so much deep meanings. If you imagine, it's so nice. 47, 1, 2. Yes, yes. In the first, Song of the Bee, this title is. Sukadeva Goswami say, the young woman of Vraja became astonished upon seeing Lord Krishna's servant, who had long arms, whose eyes resembled a newly grown lotus, who wore a yellow garment and a lotus garland, whose lotus-like face glowed with brightly polished earrings. Who is this handsome man? The gopis asked. Where has he come from, and whom does he serve? He is wearing Krishna's clothes and ornament. Saying this, the gopis eagerly crowded around Uddhava, whose shelter was the lotus feet of Lord Uttama Sloka, Sri Krishna. So this a few points here. The gopis, they were astonished about seeing Lord Krishna's servant, who had long arms, whose eyes resembled a newly grown lotus, who wore a yellow garment and a lotus garland, and whose lotus-like face glowed with brightly polished earrings. So Krishna's feet are just compared like lotus, very soft. Lotus is very compared, soft. That's the, and his eyes, his abdomen, from his abdomen lotus is coming, and Brahma, the creator, is coming. Yes. Here also, the gopis are seeing this Uddhava, and they are very surprised to see. He's so handsome, he's so beautiful. His dress are similar like Krishna's clothes and ornaments. And they are asking, whom does he serve? It's said in the Bhagavatam also that if when you serve the Lord, you also become decorated. Like when you see the mirror also get decorated like that. When you serve the Lord, you also become beautiful. Like when you decorate yourself, the mirror also become beautiful. That's the power of devotional service. So this, in this similar, this says, who is this handsome man? The gopis asked. Where has he come from, and whom does he serve? Where he's come? Whom does he serve? He says. This Uddhava, whose shelter was the lotus feet of Lord Uttama Sloka. Uttama Sloka means Lord Krishna is glorified with very nice verses. His only shelter was the Lord's lotus feet. The whole process of our Krishna consciousness, we recite Guru Puja. So in this all, it says Guru Charana Padma Keval Bhakti Sadma. The only shelter is the lotus feet of our spiritual master. Yeah, one has to approach a unadulterated pure devotee of the Lord. So, and Srimad Bhagavatam also is like an Amrit. Amrit means nectar. If you want to find real nectar, that's in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. In these pastimes, we can hear there is an interaction between the Lord and his devotee, a pure representative of God, Uddhava. They are so much absorbed in Krishna, and we can see how the gopis are chastising, or they are remembering Krishna, they are finding faults, many things. Bowing their heads in this first is, they are seeing Uddhava and they are becoming astonished, his beautiful features. And they are asking, whom is he serving? And Uddhava has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, in this today's verse also same, it is the Lakshmi, the Brahma, demigods there, they have attained perfection, and they are in the mind, they are worshipping the Lord, the lotus feet. And but the gopis, they attain higher perfection. They got the opportunity to dance with Krishna. So that's rasa dance. That's a very high stage of devotional service. Generally, we don't discuss because it's a very pure topics. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also was strict on this. But still, we talk about that for our purification. So it's said that the lotus feet, like when you worship the Lord, you have to see the lotus feet of the Lord and then slowly go to the face of the Lord. Each part when we worship. So we get an opportunity in the Mangalarti, Darshanarti while worshiping the Lord. This is a very powerful process of devotional service, absorbing in the lotus feet of the Lord. If you want to fix our mind, then we have to fix our mind at the lotus feet of the Lord. Uh, So while worshiping, also you get to touch the lotus feet of the Lord. Yes. So you become transcendental blissful in this. So here, next verse it says, this very wonderful prayers of the gopis is so exalted, it's beyond our limited perception, he says. Now how the gopis, they are seeing Uddhava and his futures and his bright this effulgence. Uh, they are saying, whom is he worshipping, whom is he serving, and whose shelter has Uddhava had taken the shelter of the lotus feet, Uttama Shloka. Uttama Shloka means who is glorified with very beautiful verses, Krishna's name, one of Krishna's name. Bowing their heads in humility. It's always, all the pages of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, you have to bow down before a superior person. Superior person means the Lord and his pure representative of God. He says, bowing, we can learn from this, bowing their heads in humility. It's also said that even when anybody very exalted, pure devotee comes, we have to honor him, we have to respect him. Even if we do some other things, we should give up all other things and go approach a pure devotee of Lord. So it's a worship of the. It also said that when Brigu, that's a nice story of Brigu. Brigu Muni wanted to know who is the Supreme Lord. Then he was told that you go to Brahma, Shiva, then he came to Lord Krishna. Krishna was, Narayan was lying on a Sheshnag. He thought Brahma is not fit, he gets angry. Shiva also gets angry easily. Then he approaches Brigu Muni and kicks on his chest, and Lakshmi becomes very angry and she leaves the place. How come is this? But Krishna is very, Narayan is just pinching on his feet like that. Very nice pastimes. So in this verse, we say, next verse, it says, bowing their heads in humility, bowing their heads, the gopis. The gopis duly honored Uddhava with their shy, smiling glances and pleasing words. Generally, women are shy by nature. So the gopis are honoring Uddhava with smiling glance and pleasing words. They took him to a quiet place, seated him comfortably, and began to question him from him. They recognized him to be a messenger from Krishna, the master of the goddess of fortune. So they recognized this Uddhava and they start to question him. So these question answers are very important in our spiritual life. Tato Brahma Jignasa says. This whole pages of Srimad Bhagavatam is that inquisitiveness. The devotees are interacting, the Lord is interacting in this very nice. He says, they took him to a quiet place, seated him comfortably, and began to question him, for they recognized him to be a messenger from Krishna, the master of the goddess of fortune. For they recognized him to be a messenger from Krishna, the master of the goddess of fortune. That's what devotee's life is, whole about Krishna, no other duty. The chaste gopis were enlightened to see that a messenger had come from Krishna, as Uddhava will discover during stay at Vrindavan. The unique gopis could not think of anything but their beloved Krishna. So they had nothing else. They were absorbed in Krishna. In second verse, they are offering their obeisances with great humility, and they are honoring Uddhava. So, we can see the reciprocation of the Lord and devotees. They are always, whenever a guest comes, it says you have to offer him respect, or you have to give him a nice place in a household life also, and give him a nice seat like that. Or you have to speak some kind words or give water like that. Or you have to offer obeisances, you have nothing. It's very simple. Here also it says, bowing their heads in humility, the gopis duly honored Uddhava with their shy, smiling glance and pleasing words. They took him to a quiet place, seated him comfort, and began to question him. There were, in different yugas, they were offering different Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga is like they offered what you know, spirit and lemonade. That also is not. Uh, Before that, they used to offer very nice milk, coconut water, and things like that. You can see in villages like that. When anybody comes a guest, they offer water and like that. Here also we can see that's in the mundane sense, but that's a Vedic culture like that. Going whenever a guest come, you have to offer own business. The first verse was the gopis were attracted to Uddhava and they were asking who is this handsome person and whom is he worshipping. Uh, Uddhava had taken shelter of them. Yeah. And next verse is this: they are bowing in humility to Uddhava, and with the shy glances they will play. And they took him to a class and started to question. They understood that he is the messenger of God. The third verse is: we know that you are the personal son of Krishna, the chief of Yadus, and that you have become here on the order of your good master, who desires to give pleasure to his parents. So they told that you came because you are a messenger of Krishna and you want to please his parents. And, so Krishna's parents, Uddhava was sent like that. Uddhava was sent to consult the gopis and all the residents of Vrindavan and the gopis. Because they were feeling the separation of Krishna. It's also said in the you have to worship. It says Shiva asked which worship is the topmost worship. It's Lord's worship or Lord's representative. He says, of all the worship, the Lord's pure representative worship there. But if you don't worship the Lord's pure representative, means it's a false ego, like he said, also said. It's a false pride, like that. He says one has to worship. So such is this importance is given of. So here it says here, the gopi said, we know that you are the personal servant of Krishna, the chief of Yadus, and that you have come here on the order of your good master who desires to give pleasure to his parents. So much importance of a devotee is given. Devotee is very rare, very rare. Devotee is not ordinary. Why many people don't come to Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita says there's a nice word, Ashraddhana Purusasya. In 8th chapter and says, those who don't have faith, they don't attain the kingdom of God. They go repeated birth and death. That's why we don't have any candidates, very few customers. Yes. He says, we see nothing else. He might consider worth remembering in this cow's pastures of Raja. Indeed, the bonds of affection for one's family members are difficult to break even for a sage. He says the bonds of a family member even difficult for a great sage. Why will he think of this pasture, or the gopis? The gopis are now finding faults and remembering Krishna. He says, he might consider worth remembering this cow pasture. We see nothing else. He might consider worth remembering this cow pasture. Indeed, the bonds of affection for one's family was difficult to break even for a sage. Indeed, the bonds of affection for one's families are difficult to break even for a sage. This knot, a family knot, is very strong. It's a family is very strong, it says. But by the words of a sadhu's duty is to cut the ignorance. Actually, a sadhu, a saintly person, is here the gopis are saying, it's these few verses we can see, 3 verses, it's different. Like first they are attracted to this effulgent personality, is asking whom does he serve, and he had taken shelter of the lotus feet, and then with humility they are offering their obeisances and they are honoring Uddhava with their shining glances. And they understood that he is a messenger of goddess of fortune. So the representative of Krishna, this Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, this we have to hear, read, understand, absorb this Bhagavad. That should be our life and soul. We know that you are a person around Krishna. You have come here on the order of your good master, who desires to give pleasure to his parents. Now, in this, why will he remember us? This cow pasture. The bonds of affection one's family members are difficult to break, even for a sage. The gopis are saying the bonds of family are very difficult. They're saying first he came because to console his parents, and now they are saying this he sent you, very difficult to break. And now 6th verse it says, the friendship showed towards others These gopis are giving so much detailed explanation. They are thinking of Krishna, they are finding faults with Krishna, and they say the friendship shown towards others, those who are not family members, is motivated by personal interest. So whatever relationship we have with family, that's very strong. But that same friendship, there are different mellows in a friendship, family, lover, service. That we have a relationship with God. We can develop that relation. But in this, the gopis are saying the friendship, on the mundane sense, shown towards others, those who are not family members, is motivated by personal interest. First, they say this knot is very difficult to break, and then now they are giving the example. The friendship shown towards others, those who are not family members, is motivated by personal interest. And thus it is a pretense that lasts only until one's purpose is fulfilled. Such friendship is just like interest man take in women or bees in flowers. They give the example, a man takes interest in a woman or a bees in flower. So whatever in mundane relationship, they are all give and take. There's no real love actually. That love is our eternal relationship with God. We are all eternal. We belong to the spiritual world, like that. So this world is a prison house. It's a place of miseries. Is now these gopis are saying the friendship shown toward others, those who are not family members, is motivated by personal interest, and thus it is a pretense that lasts only until one's purpose is fulfilled. That's based on selfish. Um, so they are criticizing Krishna. He says, "Sir, the friendship shown to others, those who are not family members, motivated by personal interest, and thus it is a pretense that lasts only until one's purpose is fulfilled. Such friends, just like the interest man take in woman or bees in flowers." Now they are giving different examples now here. Prostitutes abandon a penniless man, subjects an incompetent king, student their teachers once they have finished their education, and a priest a man who has remunerated them for a sacrifice. Such a wonderful examples they are giving. They are giving the example of family and friends, which is based on personal motivated relation. That's only this pretense. And the third, they say they're giving the example of prostitute abandoned a penniless man, subjects an incompetent king, students their teachers, once they have finished their education, and priest a man who has remunerated them for his sacrifice. So nice examples are given. Incompetent king, a teacher, student, education, a priestman. Then another example is given. Bird abandons a tree when its fruits are gone. Guest a house after they have eaten. Animals a forest that have been burned down. And a lover the man he has enjoyed, even though she remains attached to him. And so another example is given. Birds abandon a tree when its fruits are gone. Guest a house after they have eaten. Animals a forest that has burned down. And a lover the woman he has enjoyed, even though she remains attached to him. Thus speaking, the gopis, whose words, bodies, and minds were fully dedicated to Lord Govinda, put aside all their regular work. Now that Krishna's messenger Shivda had arrived among them, constantly remembering the activities of their beloved Krishna had performed in his childhood and youth, they sang about them and cried without shame. So this singing and crying for the Lord. That's a very important part of a spiritual life. He says, one of the gopis, while meditating on previous association with Krishna, saw a honeybee her and imagined it to be a messenger sent to by her beloved. Thus she spoke as follows. The gopi said, "O honeybee, O friend of a cheater, don't touch my feet with your whiskers, which are smeared with the kumkum and rubbed onto Krishna's garland when it was crushed by the breast of a rival lover. Let Krishna satisfy the woman of Mathura. One who sends messenger like you will certainly be ridiculed in the Yadus assembly." After making us drink that enchanting nectar of his lips only once, Krishna suddenly abandoned us, just as you might quickly abandon some flowers. How is that the goddess Padma willingly served his lotus feet? Alas, the answer must certainly be that her mind has been stolen away by his deceitful words. So they are speaking to a bee, thinking to be messenger of Krishna, one of the gopis. He says, after making us drink the ancient nectar of his lips only once, Krishna suddenly abandoned us, just as you might quickly abandon some flowers. Yes. Oh, slowly. Oh, it's echoing? Okay, I got it. Okay. Okay. Sorry for that. I'm in more passion. Hare Krishna. Uh, After making us drink the enchanting nectar of his lips only once, Krishna suddenly abandoned us, just as you might quickly abandon some flowers. So this is saying after making the drink of the enchanting nectar of his lips, uh, Krishna suddenly abandoned us, just as you might quickly abandon some flowers. How is that goddess Padma willingly serve his lotus feet? The answer must certainly be that her mind has been stolen away by his deceitful words. Anyway. So these are the few wonderful pastimes, interaction of the Lord and his devotees. Now, particularly this worship, different examples are given of lotus feet. Prabhupada says. We can see all the Goswamis, Chaitanya in the Rupa in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Das Kaviraj, he considers himself very humble. Though Chaitanya Charitamrita is the postgraduate study, it says. Bhagavad Gita is the ABC, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. It said one should worship the lotus. The first canto is the lotus feet of the Lord, and the 10th canto is the smiling face of the Lord. That's the nectar. It says here. Hare Krishna. Now, in this Chaitanya Chaitanya says, I now worship the lotus feet of all my readers, for by their mercy of their lotus feet, that is all good. So, this worshipping the lotus feet of an exalted personality, a representative of God, is very beneficial in our spiritual path. We can see in the example of this Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. He was the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he's taking such a humble position. He's taking I'm a worm. He's comparing his worm in the stool like that. And now before he's taking the mercy of all the devotees, he's praying at the lotus feet of everybody, all the Goswamis, all everybody there. He's taking a very humble way. Now he says here, before writing this Chaitanya Charit, I now worship the lotus feet of all my readers. He says, all my readers, for by the mercy of their lotus feet, there is all good fortune. He is appreciating the readers of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita is a postgraduate study. He say, I worship the lotus feet of all my readers. Srila Prabhupada also said this, all devotees should learn Bengali. Bengali is a very sweet language. Chaitanya Charitamrita is I now worship the lotus feet of all my readers, for by the mercy of their lotus feet, there is all good fortune. So we worship the Goswamis. Here it says, if one hears the pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, I wash his lotus feet and drink the water. This is the author of Chaitanya. If one hears the pastime of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, I wash his lotus feet and drink the water. If one hears the pastime of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, I wash his lotus feet and drink the water. Three things are powerful in devotional service. It said, the washed lotus feet of a pure representative of God, and the lotus feet dust of a pure devotee, and his remnants. This may seem little very this, but that's the way. When we eat the remnants of food offered to the Lord, it becomes prasadam. But general people cannot understand it. Those who have tasted prasadam, they know. Then you cannot give prasadam. They don't want to eat anything else, just prasadam. Their life is chanting Hare Krishna, hearing about Krishna. In this, the author is praying at the lotus feet of all the readers, and he's asking their mercy. and by the mercy, there's all good fortune. In another, it says, if one hears the pastime of Lord Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, as described in Chaitanya Charitamrit, I washed his lotus feet and drink the water. I decorate my head with the dust of the lotus feet of my audience. Now you have all drunk this nectar, and therefore my labor is successful. He says, I decorate my head with the dust of the lotus feet of my audience. Now you have all drunk this nectar, and therefore my labor is successful. So the importance of devotees, so much honor and respect given. Devotee was very rare. It says, Koti Karmi. Koti Karmi means fruity worker. Out of that, one may be a Jnani. And out of that Jnani, after thousands of Jnanis, learn it very scholarly, uh, there may be one devotee of Krishna. So devotee of Krishna is very rare. Here the author is giving so much respect to the devotees who are discussing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is taking their dust and he's thinking himself very considerable. Praying at, then he is going further. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, following in their footsteps. Now he is praying to the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath, and he is seeking their mercy. So there are the 6 Goswami pictures, Rupa, Sanatan, Raghunath Das, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami. The author of Chaitanya Charitamrita is praying. So this is the process. We don't directly jump to Krishna. We go through the parampara, Krishna, Brahma, so to the representative of Lord, and then we get Krishna. So it says, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrates Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following their footsteps. So here the importance of lotus feet of exalted personalities are given. The lotus in this chapter was given the goddess of fortune was they were mentally they could worship the Lord, at the lotus feet they could think of Krishna, and but they did not achieve the perfection. But the gopis get on highest perfection. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is filled with the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the supreme personal Godhead himself. It invokes all good fortune and destroys everything inauspicious. If one tastes the nectar of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita with faith and love, I become like a bumblebee tasting the honey of trans love from his lotus feet. So in this it says, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is filled with the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srimad Bhagavatam is about the Lord and his devotees. In this Chaitanya Charitamrita is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees. It says, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is filled with the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Person of Godhead himself. It invokes all good fortune and destroys everything inauspicious. It says, when you offer to flower to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even if his mind is very wicked, it becomes he becomes normal condition. It says. In this it says, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is filled with the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Person Godhead himself. It invokes all good fortune. It invokes all good fortune and destroys everything inauspicious. If one tastes the nectar of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita with faith and love, 2 things are there. It invokes auspicious and good fortune, but if one tastes the nectar with faith and love, I become like a bumblebee tasting the honey of transient love from his lotus feet. Since this book, Chaitanya Charitamrita, is now complete, having been written for the satisfaction of the most opulent deities, Madan Mohan and Govindji, let it be offered at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. These are the prime the deities which are in Vrindavan, main deities the Goswamis had established. It says, since this book Chaitanya Charitamrita is now complete, having been written for the satisfaction of the most opulent deities, Madan Mohanji and Govindji, let it offered at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Dev. So he's offering to this deities Radha Madan, Govind, Gopinath and this. Realized devotees are like bumblebees, maddened by their own mallows at Krishna's lotus feet. The scent of those lotus feet perfumes entire world. Who is the real soul that could give them up? He says, realized devotees are like bumblebees, maddened by their own mallows at Krishna's lotus feet. The scent of those lotus feet perfumes the entire world. Who is the real soul that could give them up? So one becomes attached to the lotus feet of Krishna, they will never give up, it says. They will be absorbed in this mallows of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the author is praying to the readers, then the Goswamis, and all the main deities of the Lord. In Vrindavan, that's Radha Gopinath, Radha Govind Dev, Radha Madan Mohan. That's in Vrindavan. So this is a few things where repeatedly the lotus feet of the devotees and the Lord shelter is taken here. They are worshipping the Lord's feet here. That's very nice. It says, with love and full faith, one should worship the lotus feet of the deity. So in Dwapar Yuga, there was temple worship and that process. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, I therefore worship the lotus feet of these six devas. With love and faith, one should worship the lotus feet of the deity. So one should not approach directly the face, one should go directly to the lotus feet and go to the face worshipping the deity. Subal Prabhu was saying in one of his class, our situation, we go direct to the face. That was, I remember. we don't go to the feet of the Lord directly. So this is, says, with Chaitanya Charitamrita says, with love and full faith, one should worship the lotus feet of the deity. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita. With love and full faith. With love and full faith, one should worship the lotus feet of the deity. So, a few things that there are 5 limbs of devotional service. They are best. Even a slight perform these 5 awakens love for Krishna. In devotional, there are 5 limbs, it says. Even a little will be 5 awaken. That's a Bhakti Vinod points out that there are 35 items up to the point of observing special oaths in the month of Kartik. I want to read this. It's very long here. Yeah, this is this 5 association with devotees, chanting the holy name, to make known the completes of this 5 practice devotional service. The 5 items, that is to reside in a holy place, to associate with devotees, to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the 5 very important for 5 limbs of devotional service. Chanting Hare Krishna Mantra, reading Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, residing in a holy place, and yeah. So, the importance of devotional service, the limbs of devotional service. Lotus feet, one has to see, yeah. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, there it says, my dear Lord, you automatically fulfill all the desires of women who worship your lotus feet in pure. However, if a woman worships your lotus feet for a particular purpose, you also quickly fulfill her desires. Therefore, one need not worship your lotus feet for some material benefit. It says, if you if you worship the Lord, the woman, for a material purpose, that also is fulfilled. But one should not worship for that, it says. But the Lord fulfills that desire also, it says. That it says there are pure devotees, they don't ask for anything. The material devotees, they ask something for devotee. They come to the Lord. 4 classes of people, they also become purified. But in this verse, it says in Srimad Bhagavatam, my dear Lord, you automatically fulfill all the desires of a woman who worships your lotus feet in pure love. Who worship the Lord's lotus feet in pure love. the Lord fulfills all the desire. However, if a woman worships your lotus feet for a particular purpose, you also quickly fulfill her desires. But in the end, she becomes broken-hearted and laments. Therefore, one not need worship your lotus feet for some material benefit. Generally, people come to Lord for some material benefit. In this verse, it says, the Lord is fulfilling all desires who worships in pure love, the lotus feet. Later, yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Srinivatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. Hearing about Krishna, glorifying of Krishna, the one who speaks, one who hears, one inquires, everything becomes auspicious. Yes. Here it says here, you automatically fulfill, then he accumulates pious deeds by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So much powerful it is. Srinivatam Swakashna Kata. See, you respect all devotees and is going and Hare Krishna. My dear Lord, you automatically fulfill all the desires of women who worship your lotus feet in pure love. He says, you automatically fulfill all the desires of a woman who worships your lotus feet in pure love. However, if a woman worships your lotus feet for a particular purpose, you also quickly fulfill her desires. But in the end, she becomes broken-hearted and laments. Therefore, one need not worship your lotus feet for some material benefit. Rupa Goswami says, Anya bilashita sunyam, jnana karmadi anvat. One should not worship the Supreme Person Godhead to fulfill some material desire for success in fruitive activities or mental speculation. To serve the lotus feet of the Lord means to serve Him exactly as He desires. So that's what the lotus feet is meant for. What Krishna wants, we have to. That's the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charana. Rupa Goswami. Pure devotional service as Anya Bilashita Sunyam, Jnana Karma Anivritam. It says also akinchana, one should take shelter of a person who does not possess any material position. Such an exalted devotee, you have to take his shelter. It says. Here it says, Anya bilashit sunyam jnana karma. One should not worship the Supreme Person of Godhead to fulfill some material desire for success in fruitive activities or mental speculation. To serve the lotus feet of the Lord means to serve Him exactly as He desires. The neophyte, so for us, chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, following the 4 regulative principles, and giving all our energy in the service of the Lord, and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and by engaging in the service of the Lord, by chanting the rounds, we get spiritual strength to do it very joyfully, become more blissful, we become more enlivened. It says it gives me strength. Here it says, one should not worship the Supreme Person or fulfill some material desire for success in fruitive activities or mental speculation. To serve the lotus feet of the Lord means to serve Him exactly as He desires. There's always a Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Ikya Arna Kariyo Mani Asha. Arna Kariye Mani Asha. Just the instruction of the representative of Lord, that should be the life and soul of a devotee. Here it says to serve the lotus feet of the Lord means to serve Him exactly as He desires. Because the pure representative speaks what Krishna speaks. He doesn't go an inch from here and there. Srila Prabhupada also says, I became successful because I gave words as it is from my spiritual master. I didn't give a connection. So here I became successful. All credit goes to my spiritual master. He says, one should not worship the Supreme Person Godhead, fulfill some material desire for success in fruitive activities or mental. To serve the lotus feet of the Lord means to serve Him exactly as He desires. The neophyte devotee is therefore ordered to worship the Lord strictly according to the regular principles given by the spiritual master and the Shastra. By executing devotional service in that way, he gradually becomes attached to Krishna. And when his original dormant love for the Lord becomes manifest, he spontaneously serves the Lord without any motive. This condition is the perfect stage of one's relationship with the Lord. The Lord then looks after the comfort and security of his devotee without being asked. Krishna promises in the Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayantu mam ye jana paripashate titya nityabhutanam yoga shemam vamyam. The Supreme Person Lord person takes care of anyone who is completely engaged in his devotional service. Whatever he has, the Lord protects, and whatever he needs, the Lord supplies. Therefore, why should one bother the Lord for something material? Such prayers are necessary. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti explained that even if a devotee wishes the Lord to fulfill a particular desire, the devotee should not be considered a sakama bhakta, a devotee with some motive. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, 4 types of event. So in this it says, Ananya Chintayantu Smam. He says the neophyte devotee is therefore ordered to worship the Lord strictly according to the regulatory principles given by the spiritual master in the Shastras. That's what I repeat. It's Guru Mukha Padma. He says the neophyte devotee is therefore ordered to worship the Lord strictly according to the regulation given by the spiritual master in the scriptures. By executing devotional service in that way, he gradually becomes attached to Krishna. And when his original dormant love for the Lord becomes manifest, he spontaneously serves the Lord without any motive. So the orders of the Guru and the scriptures, one has to become attached to it, one is to make its life and soul, and that way he will become attached to Krishna, and then his love for Krishna will become manifest, and then he will spontaneously serve the Lord. So that is Raga Bhakti, means spontaneous devotional service. We are following Vedi Bhakti. Yes, so saying few things. So yeah, time is little short. Yeah, any questions, comments? Yeah, Brahma also is praying, let me become the dust of Vrindavan so that devotees trample me and I get the dust of the feet. In that I will attain success. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Good. Okay. Srimad Bhagavat Puran ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra.